Kenny, have you ever wondered how to take wood and make it look like a chiseled rock?
No. You want to show me how?
I'm going to show him how right now. Do you guys want to learn how to take wood and turn it into a chiseled rock face? Stay tuned. Enjoy the video.
Remember, when you subscribe to our channel, click on the red subscribe button and be sure to ring the bell so you get notified every time we have a new video. Thanks again.
Okay guys, what we're doing right now is we're going to prep this for a rock face edge. Kenny Dracoulis, you work in Texas with Mrs. RK3 Designs,
That's
right?
correct.
And you teach classes and you teach how to build substrate.
Yes.
You know, we were talking about this. Building a substrate, you have your system, I have mine. I've learned from you and you're going to learn from me today.
Correct.
And we're going to kind of combine forces. I think there's a lot of power in that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like joining transformer forces. So we also have seen rock face edges where a lot of the detail is put in prior to the Bondo, right?
Correct.
And so we're going to try that today. We're going to use the grinder. We're going to put in a real heavy chiseled edge, and then I think I'm going to come up level it with a little bit of Bondo to give you some depth and visual interest, but big chunks and chisels.
If we get in there with the grinder and just maybe grind some of this out and then just give it some more depth other than just the Bondo, if you just put the Bondo on there, I think it'll give it more realistic, don't you think?
I do, and we got 1.5 inches. That may not seem like a lot, but that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot to take off.
You get to play deep.
Right.
Another thing here is with this inside radius, I'm going to use my router. So everything that we make for the top bearing on our router bit is with a template. So this top bearing will follow that template and it'll transfer that to the next piece. So that's why on this piece, we've just ran this long knowing we're going to use this as our template. And we made this original cut using that template, pinning it down, following that to give us a perfect inside radius. Guys, if you haven't seen our video on how to build a substrate, go check that out where we use templates to make perfect radiuses every time. So if you look at this piece that we've already done, there's your inside,
right.
There's your outside. So
right.
It's repeatable.
Yeah, you just tack that on there and then you just use the router bit just to get this.
And we just use a 23 gauge pin nail and those pop out and you never know they were there.
Right.
And then I left this square, and it doesn't matter that I ran this a little long.
Right.
We're gonna chisel
sand
it.
Right.
Yep.
Or sand it or whatever, right.
All right, I'm gonna put on mask and ears. We're gonna buzz that out. And when we buzz these out, we do 2 passes. I don't try to do the whole thing in 1 pass.
Yeah, because that's a pain.
Another thing that you could do, Kenny, let's say we weren't doing a rock face edge.
Right.
You could just use this bearing to flush that up.
Yeah, you could just right now just.
Yeah. So that's a pro tip when you're making artboards or you're making canvases or drop edges. If you run these a little long and use a top bearing, you're gonna get your perfect square cuts every time by just buzzing that right through.
Yeah.
That's sweet, right?
That's nice, yeah. I really like how that really comes out.
That was worth the trip to Oregon right there.
For sure, all the way.
All right, I'm gonna blow this off and we're gonna get that grinder out and really create some sawdust. So Kenny, I'm gonna do this section here and then you're gonna do that section. We're gonna use a 50 grit metal sanding disc on the angle grinder. We're gonna go full speed. We're gonna make this thing look like a piece of rock and we're gonna have some fun. How do you mess up Mother Nature?
You don't.
Exactly.
The way that you mess it up is by doing things too repeated, too perfect. You want to be random, right? You want to be free and loose. So when you do it that way, that's how you mimic Mother Nature. You like it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
What do you think?
That's sick. Kenny, I got to tell you, man, I was scared when I first started to get aggressive.
Yeah.
And the more aggressive you get, the more you could see you're setting this thing up for realism.
Right, right. I really like how it's turning out.
I do too. Do you think adding some Bondo and giving it some dimension with that and then sanding that back?
Yeah, I think that'll give it more depth than just what we did. Plus it'll take out that center line. of where you could see it in different areas.
Sure. Let's do it, man. Let's mix up some Bondo. We got to work fast. It's 85 degrees.
Yeah.
With a light breeze.
With a light breeze. You see it in the dust?
Yeah, the dust is breezy.
It's a little out of the southeast. It's not like rough, but do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the sanding edges, like maybe just go over the whole, just to take these little lines out.
I agree. So we're going to take the random orbital sander. We're going to remove the evidence that this was done with the flap disc, and then we're going to go ahead and Bondo after that. You ready?
Let's do this.
All right. 60 grit right there. Kenny, when you put all that on, you look mean and tough.
Yeah. You can see right there how that just lightened it up a little bit.
Here, let me clean you off.
Yeah, see how it took off those rough edges? I think that's just going to make it look a little more natural.
Oh yeah, I like
And it'll
that.
help so we don't have to put the Bondo so thick, you think?
I like that, yeah. The nice thing about doing anything that you do prior to epoxy is almost completely forgiving, because if we don't like it, we do a little more. We add like any paint, any effect, any undertones. It's all preparing you for a really cool piece, and it's not time sensitive. You get to play with it and get it just how you want.
Right.
Have you used this green one before?
Yes.
Do you like it?
I just bought a thing of it a while back, and I really like it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of warm in here, so I don't know if we should put a whole lot, but
You don't need a bunch.
I'm guessing maybe something about like that.
Okay, let's do it.
What I was told is you never want to stir it. You always want to just get that blue, and you can see how it's turning colors in there.
Let's add a little bit more.
A little bit more.
It's easier to add it than take it out, right?
Yeah.
And then once you get it mixed, use it. Do not play around. Like, get to work so that you got plenty of working time. And if you don't know how to use Bondo, start with a little bit first and work your way up. And we're not looking for perfection. We're actually looking for high and low points in the Bondo, and that gives you more visual interest that if you don't like, you can always sand it back flush, but it gives you options. And this edge that we've done has really set us up, man. Like, this is going to be a very neat rock face edge.
Yeah, I think it's going to turn out really nice. Just doing it just like this.
See, watch this. See this little area? This will almost become like sandy. You know, you can really give it some realistic effects. Some of this will sand out, but some of it like that, you can really set yourself up for some neat looks.
I think it looks pretty good.
I do too. I never clean these off. I let it sit.
Right, then you can just fold them up and just pop them off.
You know what I think we do? Let's go work on another project while this dries.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and sand it up. We'll be ready for the next step. All right, I'll start on my side, Kenny.
All right.
Kenny, what was your biggest takeaway? I mean, I learned a ton just really taking that grinder and going crazy with it. The more that I babied it, the less it looked real. I went after it. What'd you learn?
Yeah, the same thing. I think the more giving it the more diagonal cuts, and then that helped just give it more of that natural edge. I think that's what really helped it out.
I like your undercuts here, like that. I really like that. That looks real. I like that we added Bondo and then we missed areas on purpose that give it that hole in the rock, you know? And
right. Like we talked about earlier, once we go in there and we put some of those darks in there, it's going to really give it that depth.
Yeah.
And it's really going to make it pop.
You gave them a hint to what we're going to do on this project. We're going to come in and decorate this edge, make it look more realistic.
Correct.
Let me grab a piece of plywood. So this is a pro tip, man. So the reason I use plywood, it's a little bit shy
Of this, yeah, because it's always about an 1/8 to a 1/16 bigger.
Yeah. So I put that on there, and then that will overhang my plywood all the way, hide that edge. Woo, I love this piece. I can't wait to put the next coat on it. I'm gonna fog these edges. Right now they look cool. I like the texture that we have on them, but they're just plain. That's not what rock really looks like.
Why don't we get a sponge or a bag and get some different multicolors like that? Maybe would give you.
Let's do it.
That would give you kind of a 3D.
Do you want to grab some more color?
Yeah.
All right.
La cucaracha.
That's sick, Rhonda. Dang, see, this is what I'm thinking about on the front edge. Maybe we should do this on the front edge too.
Yeah, to bring in a match.
Yep, yep. That is easy and beautiful. Look at what it does to that. It accentuates those chunks.
So when you're doing a technique like this where you're using a bag, it's real important to keep moving your bag around so that you keep creating interest. See this ink here? You want to make sure your bag's inside out so that you're not transferring that ink onto your piece.
I've done that before, and it actually turned out to be a happy accident.
Yeah.
But it definitely put a green hue into a different color that I've never done before. Do you mind if I start fogging these other edges, Rhonda?
You bet.
Rhonda, is it okay if I?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's try it. Well, that just adds another dimension. And I think putting silver over this copper.
Yep, we're toning it down.
Yeah, I think it'll be just another cool layer.
I think that's the best rock edge I've seen yet.
I agree, man.
I'm not gonna say just because we did it, but but the way it all laid out.
Yeah, you're doing a good job, Mike. You're doing good.
That was all Kenny. That's cool though, you get that reflection on it. See that, man? I really like this Rockface Edge. This was a team effort. This was awesome. What we're gonna do now is flip it over. We're gonna put our Band-Aid on the backside and really stop this from leaking so we can pour our casting and create this exceptional showpiece. Guys, if you wanna see how we finish this piece, stay tuned and go to the next video.